But we'll see how this all turns out in the end. As the countdown has ended, we are loading on into our first semifinals match. Who will be in those grand finals?
And here we have, in the top right hand corner of the map, he is playing for Storm, the Korean Terran. In the yellow, GuMiho.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the the other South Korean Terran player. He is red, representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN.
And this SEV is going on a little adventure. I think he's proxying in the natural. This looks like it's going to be a proxy marauder.
Oh my god, GuMiho, we were talking about this. GuMiho, he's a madman. He is crazy. He is going for that proxy in the natural base of ByuN. Will he check it? Why would he? And is there enough? There's enough room here for a tech lab, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is something that I have seen a couple times on this map. Something that Cure actually brought back very briefly is this proxy marauder, where with just the single racks you can be a little bit less committed with it, and it does flow quite nicely into making a few cyclones and continuing the pressure.
Oh boy, now the onus is on ByuN to get eyes on this and figure out what is going on sooner rather than later. So far, he hasn't gone for any kind of SCV scout yet, as he is just waiting to finish up that racks for the time being. In the dark, and GuMiho is going to reposition his racks for that tech lab.
It does look like it was slightly off position, but ByuN not going for the scout. No scouting in TvT is something that has become very meta, and it is one of the reasons I believe that we are starting to see this proxy marauder build coming back a little bit. This is something that you can do to punish your opponent not scouting and going for these Reaper openings. And I think that is what GuMiho has decided to do here. Maybe just knowing that ByuN hasn't been scouting in his TvTs recently.
Look at the rally! Look at the rally of the racks! Yo, ByuN knows this. He's checking it. He somehow comes across the proxy racks.
Yeah, so ByuN has scouted this one, and that does put a bit of pressure on GuMiho. With that bunker starting up, he's going to need to go early with this first marauder to try to put a bit of pressure on that one, but it looks like he is going to wait for the second one, just making sure that he gets the concussive shells first.
Yeah, I think what's important is that ByuN didn't go close enough to reveal himself and show that he did scout, I believe, as the Reaper does. Yeah, the Reaper does go all the way into the main base. GuMiho is unaware, so he's now going up this ramp, but you know what? The boys are already here, and the bunker is done.
Yeah, these SCVs pre-pulled, they are going to allow this bunker to get up, and it's a lot of the sting out of the push for GuMiho, and ByuN immediately recognizing that he can send his Reaper straight across the map, already getting 4 SCVs. Considering he's already a little bit ahead on the economy, this is a really hefty blow to GuMiho.
Definitely. I'm shocked that one Reaper was able to get that many SCV kills, 4 SCVs. Aye. Now GuMiho is done with the aggression, kind of done. You were talking about the transition. We do have that factory here. Sorry, Starport. We could see an add-on switch. Starport for a tech lab for a Banshee.
Yeah, that is possible. He is going to realize that he does have that small advantage with the faster Starport. Meanwhile, on the side of ByuN, he does have his CC coming up. The Cyclone popping out is going to start to put an end to this pressure on the Marauders, but they do manage to take out one of the depots.
Yeah, that does supply block ByuN a little bit, so a little bit of damage goes a long way here. Doesn't go for the add-on switch. Looks like the Rex is going back onto that tech lab, and we are getting a medevac for GuMiho instead.
You know, I should have realized with GuMiho that this would be possible, but I had no idea that his Starport was across the map.
Wait, so that's why I thought he was going to go for a Banshee. I thought he was going to go for an add-on switch like a madman, but okay. He's just going for it.
Yeah, I like this. Using this medevac, he is going to be able to get these Marauders into the main, bypassing that bunker, but it looks like instead he's going to wrap around, he's going to pick up the 4 Marauders, and he does have the Hellions sharking around at the same time.
Yeah, what's important as well is that he did keep this medevac hidden from that Cyclone, so he hasn't shown his hand yet. He doesn't know, or ByuN doesn't know how quickly this medevac is going to be coming out for GuMiho. Going to be a little bit unexpected. Has to be careful. GuMiho has some options. If he wanted to, he could maybe try and dive on top of the tank, but with that lock on, he has to be careful not to lose that medevac. He could try to go for the mineral line instead. He actually, goes straight into the main.
Yeah, that's right. He's going to be looking for this Cyclone, but this tank is very well positioned. It is going to be able to take out one of these Marauders straight away, and GuMiho not getting any damage so far with this. ByuN even aggressively chasing after that medevac. What a move.
Yeah, gets a lock on the medevac as well. Barely manages to survive, but you know what? GuMiho is undeterred. He goes back into the main base once again, focuses down this Depot. Will be able to get a little bit of another supply block. No, not even on ByuN. Oh, as he's playing with fire right now with this medevac.
Yeah, crazy micro battle between the players. This is one of those things about the TvT, the Korean TvTs that can make them so exciting is these players all have fantastic micro and they're very aggressive with their units. So this is a crazy back and forth we're having, and ByuN already sending all his Marines across the map in a medevac.
Oh god, exactly. They are going to be on the way. Yeah. Do we have anything back at home? 3 Cyclones. Oh, we have plenty at home. They managed to get a lock on. Well, one of them at least gets a lock on this medevac. Is going to force us all the way back, but it looks like... Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately boosting a little bit too early there. He's going to have his medevac taken out.
And suddenly, GuMiho is not necessarily in the worst position. I mean, he's still behind when it comes to the workers. He's still behind when it comes to his CC, when it comes to his orbital timing, but he's still fighting so much damage anyway. Up.
Yeah, it's just being such a nuisance with these Marauders. He is going to have to be very careful with his medevac not to lose it, but he manages to get those Marauders out to safety. And meanwhile, back at home, taking his 3rd and 4th gas very early, I think he's going to be going into mech.
Oh, we have a bit of a scan here. There is that 2nd factory. It has been revealed. Now, ByuN is fully aware of the mech. Crucial scan, to be honest. Also gets eyes on the fact that we already have a 3rd CC done for GuMiho.
Yeah, and GuMiho here going for a 2nd tech lab, so he does have the potential here for a very strong 2-factory tank push. He can just pump tanks and Vikings out constantly, and that's going to give him a very strong timing to start putting pressure on the 3rd of ByuN.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, I just love that GuMiho, this tech lab, by the way, has vision of the 3rd CC being built. So GuMiho is already fully aware that ByuN is expanding. There's no kind of weird kind of 2-base timing going to be coming his way either. GuMiho pushing out across the map once again, just getting eyes on that triangular 3rd base location or any kind of drop that tries to come out.
Yeah, that's right. And ByuN on his own side going up to 4 racks, going up to 5 racks, sorry. So he's playing very standard progression for the TvT, but GuMiho not looking to have this one go on very much further. He's pumping out those Vikings, and now that he's recognized that he has the air lead, he's starting to make Liberators, so this is going to be a very scary push and a difficult one for ByuN to deal with.
Oh my god, exactly. Meanwhile, I thought the Cyclones were here. The Raven, oh my god, just diving straight into that mineral line, goes past the natural, going into the main base. Cyclones are across the map, so somehow, some way, this Raven is kind of threading the needle, but oh, it is going to go down.
It is going to go down, but at the same time, this Raven sees everything. It sees the Vikings, it sees the Liberators and the tank count, sees the double factory, so ByuN is going to get a good idea of exactly what's coming his way, and it's really important for him to see this so early.
Yeah, exactly. He has to start preparing back at home. We already have a couple of missile darts being thrown down. We have the tanks being sieged up here at the 3rd base location. Is this going to be enough, though? Because, again, the Liberators do kind of change the dynamic here. Viking production has recommenced for ByuN. He's going to be slowly banking them up here at the natural.
Yeah, I love this from ByuN. He's actually put his turrets in the main and the natural, so I wonder if this is something that GuMiho has played against ByuN before, because it seems like ByuN is very aware that Gumi's going to try to create this crazy situation of aggression at the front and backstab with the Liberators at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of, here we go. Liberator is going into the main base. Missile turret is in the mineral line, but slightly out of position, and the Liberator just bypass it.
Yeah, this Liberator is going to deny a little bit of mining time here. It's going to cause the Vikings to pull back, and that is going to allow GuMiho to start pushing forward with his own units.
Yeah, exactly. Going to apply a bit of pressure here towards the southern end of the map. At the same time, Liberator sieges up and does get 1 tank of ByuN's.
Yeah, really nice job by GuMiho pulling ByuN this way and that way, trying to tax the multitask and also tax the unit count, considering that he does have the superior tank count at this point. But ByuN is not going to take this lying down, going to chase after these units on the right.
Yeah, he cleans up every single one of these Cyclones. GuMiho has to be careful of a bit of a backstab. He's reading this, by the way. He repositions his own Vikings and he will get the medevacs.
Yeah, brilliant moves with the medevac, with the Vikings there. So both of these players very aware of the kind of moves that each other likes to go for.
Yeah, exactly. There is still one medevac that did survive here for ByuN, so he could go for a drop. That's why a couple of tanks do actually turn around for GuMiho. He wants to be careful, wants to be ready for any kind of drop. Has the Vikings, the reinforcing Vikings back at home rallying, and ByuN has kind of sold the story, and that means there's going to be less supply here across the map for GuMiho.
Yeah, that's right. ByuN has managed to threaten with those units, throw down a scan as well, and it's going to recognize these tanks are leaving, but these tanks are not going to want to unsiege too quickly.
Oh, yeah, they do get unsieged. ByuN dives on top of it, cleans up every single one of those tanks. A massive loss there for GuMiho. It will have the defender's advantage, but I'm afraid to look, he lost 6 tanks.
Yeah, great killer instinct coming out there from ByuN, and that does sway the momentum of this game quite a bit. GuMiho back at home himself, going from those 2 factories up to 5 factories, but he is weak for a moment here as that production is still kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. He only has 4 tanks to his name, and they're being spread quite thin here. 1 towards the main, 2 towards the third base. ByuN is pushing on in, and because we only have 4 tanks, I mean, ByuN, he could even find a way to just bypass them completely.
Yeah, that's right, and there's a lot of potential here for ByuN to make use of drops as well. That eBay for GuMiho only just finishing up now, but these tanks are going to deflect a lot of this bio.
Oh, definitely, but you know what the Vikings do on the planning? They trade 2 Vikings for 2 tanks. Not a bad trade whatsoever. And ByuN is going to be forced to back on up. Something that you just mentioned, though, when it comes to the medevacs, ByuN doesn't have too many of them. He just made a wave of 2 because he did transition back into Vikings earlier to deal with the Liberators, and now we can finally go for those drops.
Yeah, that's right. And meanwhile, back at home, we are seeing ByuN. He's starting to get into a very aggressive style of dealing with the mech, going into a few extra racks here. So I believe he's going up to 8 racks. This is a very aggressive option that you can go for to try to deal with mech.
Oh yeah, very aggressive indeed. 2 2s on the horizon. More medevacs are going to be coming out as well. We do see GuMiho expanding towards the southern end of the map to kind of respond to this. He doesn't want to get slowed down. He still wants to get his 4th base up and running as both players scan each other. They do end up posturing, and yeah, ByuN is just having a hard time pushing his way in, but it's okay because he's taking a 5th.
Yeah, that's right. ByuN just going to use the map presence that he has just to get up a bit of extra economy. This is typically how you want to play the bio against mech. Just take advantage of your mobility and your map control to afford yourself some extra economy. But at the same time, GuMiho playing this out really well and actually scouting the 5th with the racks.
The scouting. Yo, let's land and make a marine. Let's go. As GuMiho does get eyes on that 5th base, but he can't be too distracted. His army for a moment went to try and deny the 5th. At that same moment, ByuN is going to siege up and try and sneak into the natural base.
Yeah, ByuN very aware of the movement of the army here, but GuMiho well prepared himself, does have these turrets ready. He's going to take out one of these medevacs, and he's going to be able to clean up these units as well. They're not really going to be able to get out here. Just taking out a turret, taking out a couple depots for their trucks as well, but these tanks are going to be able to clean this up.
Yeah, exactly. We do see the Hellbats dropped here onto, oh my god, Hellbats dropped like it's 2015. Jesus Christ. It's Heart of the Swarm once again. Oh my god, but GuMiho now has a buffer. That's something that I was about to be a little bit critical of. He was relying on just pure Viking tank Liberator for so long. It meant that his tanks were so vulnerable to his Marauders diving on in. Speaking of, these tanks here are left completely isolated. Oh, it doesn't even matter. Doesn't even care.
Yeah, really good move by ByuN, but he's going to completely bypass this and go straight into the main. And there are a few turrets here for GuMiho. They are going to start to take out these medevacs, but not enough. Meanwhile, GuMiho dropping the Blue Flame Hellion right on top of the tanks, and they're going to take those out almost instantly. This was not a good drop for ByuN.
Yeah, ByuN had a choice. He could take 3 tanks or he could go for the kill. He wanted to go for the kill. We were talking about it. He is that much more of an aggressive player, but it cost him the entire drop.
Yeah, I think you're right there, lad. I think it would have been better for him to just take those tanks and start to put a bit of pressure on the 4th base of GuMiho. GuMiho only on 4 bases at the moment, so if he was able to start to deny the mining of this base over here, that would be a significant knock to the economy, but Gumi has found himself in a very comfortable position nearing the max out, and he's going to be able to push across the map. Yeah. I don't know if ByuN is going to be able to deal with this.
I mean, the 5th base is completely isolated. ByuN actually taking a 6th base behind this as well. Both armies do avoid each other, and ByuN is actually going to push himself in.
Yeah, ByuN pushing in here, trying to check out some of these tanks, realizing that he really doesn't want to take a straight head-on fight against the mech of GuMiho, and to his credit, this is going to pull home the army of Gumi and buy ByuN some more time.
Yeah, exactly. It does buy him time to remax, to rebuild. He has a secondary army here in the center of the map as well. My god, he has so many Marauders. Ay, ay, ay. If he is able to catch these tanks on siege, it won't take him long to just dive on top of him. He's going to be able to push his way through these rocks. But GuMiho does scan. He gets eyes on this.
Yeah, and ByuN gonna start to skirmish with these Vikings in the air, but I do worry for him here. This tank count, it's a little bit too much to be able to fight it with the bio here. A little bit premature on the Hellbat drops there from GuMiho. He's gonna lose quite a few of those, but closer these tanks get to the base, the more difficult it's gonna be for ByuN.
Yeah, exactly. Looking at the units tab, ByuN down to only 3 tanks to the 13 of GuMiho. GuMiho coming in for a full surround on this triangular third base. ByuN completely avoiding it though. He's going across map. He does get scanned. GuMiho is aware of the run by it.
Yeah, crucial scan there, and GuMiho as well, recognizing that a lot of the army for ByuN is not here. He's going to be able to push forward with these Hellbats, even landing the Vikings to take out these extra tanks, and that's going to allow him to push forward with the tanks of his own.
Yeah, exactly. The third base is going to go down at the same time. That reinforcing, although that run by is going to hit the triangular third base of GuMiho, forces a lift up, forces a complete evacuation.
Yeah, nice little run by here, but meanwhile for GuMiho, he is producing Thors, so he is heading into an extremely high quality army. Losing a few tanks on the front here, but ByuN can only pick away at what he can and delay. He's not going to be able to take out this army.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing whatever he can to slow this down. That run by that harassing force actually turns around as well to try and maybe get a bit of a surround on the army of GuMiho, but it's very entrenched. There are no more Hellbats to help buffer, only these tanks and only the Thors, but it may just be enough because there's just not that much bio left.
Yeah, so many tanks here. These Thors are going to null the advantage of the Vikings as well, and really this bio is just a little bit too stimmed for ByuN. He's not going to be able to really take too many tank shots on those.
Yeah, exactly. He has to wait a little bit more here for the crucial moment, for a bit of a surround if he can go for it. Actually loading up for a drop instead, going to try and avoid that army, and GuMiho is going to take that opportunity to push into the natural.
Yeah, that's right, and this is a terrifying army here for GuMiho. GuMiho didn't have the Viking lead, but it doesn't matter. These Thors are going to be able to shoot all of the Vikings out of the skies, and that means he can go back into Liberators himself, and I don't see any way back into this for ByuN. He's going to have to try to get some counter damage done.
Yeah, exactly. ByuN is basically giving up his main base right now. There's almost nothing in his main to defend. There are no tanks. Oh my god, Belair's even had enough. he's done. He knows how this story ends. ByuN does catch a couple of tanks behind the army, but GG gets called, and GuMiho takes the first game.
GG, GuMiGod the Mech God showing his skills in the TvT matchup, and that was a really good game plan from him. Just manages to hunker down, which is one of the elements of Data C that makes it so hard to play against the Mech. Is it is really good for defending with the tanks, and ByuN just couldn't find a way in.
Oh, just couldn't find a way in at all. Ay, ay, ay. GG, well played. What a game there by GuMiho. A very interesting dynamic, a very interesting start to the game as well. It's something that you don't quite see too often, I'll be honest. Yeah, I'm very impressed with how GuMiho was able to play that out. Was able to transition out of, remember, his initial proxy was scouted.
Yeah, that's right. He was able to, despite not getting much damage with those Marauders, take control of the game with his two-factory tank push, and finds a very effective way to kind of get to that mech max out. And you can see that ByuN's plan with the 8 Raxes, if you don't get enough damage there, the bio just isn't able to deal with a maxed out mech army.
Yeah, it just isn't quite possible. I also want to just give some mad props to GuMiho, because he isn't... I feel like when people think of GuMiho, they don't necessarily think of his control, but like, off of his proxy Marauder, like, he still was able to do so much damage because of his medevac control, right? It was crazy how he was able to dance against the Cyclones of ByuN, and that medevac got so low, but GuMiho didn't care anyway. He was that confident. He believed that much in his own abilities.
Yeah, that's right. But his opponent up here in the top right-hand corner, not one to be swayed easily. It is the Red Terran playing for the Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
Oh, they're fighting! Oh my god, it's spawning in the top left-hand corner as both players sent out 2 SCVs, by the way. ByuN sent one of them back home. They were both thinking the exact same thing. We have the South Korean Terran representing Sidestorm Gaming, still committed to the proxy, by the way. It is GuMiho.
Yeah, that's right here. So both players going for this very dedicated proxy Rax build. It does look like ByuN's going to try to smoothly macro out into a more standard game from here. But he is going to have to try to work out what GuMiho is doing, because GuMiho actually going for a single proxy Rax.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So both players sent out their 2 SCVs, and ByuN is opting to transition, right? And maybe he's assuming that GuMiho is doing the same because they scouted each other. That would be the sane thing to do. But GuMiho is insane. He's like, you know what I'm doing? You know what? He won't think that I'm still going to do it anyway, or a variant of it.
Yeah, that's right. And these games can get very strange as you get that kind of game of chicken where you actually could still go for your proxy 2-Rax. You could do it from home, or you can go back into a standard game. And it does look like GuMiho possibly thinking of going for a proxy 1-1-1 here.
Oh my god, there we go. There is that factory in the middle of the map as well. Ay, ay, ay. So again, GuMiho, he's just built a little bit different. We'll see if he can get away with this, as the first Reaper is going to be moving out across the map, try and get eyes on his opponent. Oh, and ByuN actually foregoing Reapers entirely, going for Marines instead.
Yeah, that's right. ByuN going for a little bit of an anti-Reaper build, so it does seem like he has some idea of what's coming his way, but it's going to be very important for him to start getting some of those tech units out of the factory to deal with this 1-1-1.
Oh boy, yeah, exactly. We'll see what he decides to work on. He's working on his Hellion. He's going into, again, ByuN is going for his own 1-1-1. We have a tech lab in the middle of the map. Starport for GuMiho is actually back at home, not going to be proxied. But yeah, I'm just really, I want to see how this plays out. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, so any other player, I would expect a proxy 1-1-1 to be a dedicated tank push, but for GuMiho, I wouldn't actually be surprised to see him going for perhaps some Cyclones off of this.
Yeah, that's exactly what we see as he dances with the army of ByuN out here. We do have a Cyclone on the way, not a tank. Actually, oh my god, going for Magfield accelerators.
Yeah, this is, I'm not too surprised with this coming out from GuMiho. He does really like his Magfield Cyclones, and he's very good with controlling them as well. So these can get so much damage. They just shred mechanical units, they shred buildings, and he's going to be able to, if nothing else, probably take out a couple depots with this.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's gonna try and get his eyes or his hands on those depots already. The Rax is gonna be floating out into the map. ByuN has now spotted this, by the way. He now confirms that, okay, there was a proxy Rax towards the south. He's gonna check, and he is gonna come across the proxy factory.
Yeah, really nice heads up play from ByuN, realizing that if the Rax is proxied out on the map, there might be something more proxied. If he can deny this Magfield, yeah, the Magfield has to be cancelled. GuMiho recognizing that's not going to work out for him.
Yeah, it will not finish here. Meanwhile, it looks like GuMiho is going to try and get his hands on this medevac, but ByuN is able to barely keep it alive, barely keep it safe and sound, but GuMiho comes in from behind. Up.
Yeah, beautiful little micro battle between the two players, and he does manage to take out the medevac. That is going to remove a lot of the micro potential of this army for ByuN, and GuMiho just going to try to pick off as much of that as he can going across the map, and maybe this is why he lost the medevac. GuMiho putting on a bit of pressure himself with the Reapers.
Yeah, exactly. Reapers in the natural base, in the pocket base of ByuN, takes down 3 SCVs. That was actually, I think he even built one of those Reapers in the natural base of ByuN as well. Crazy. Oh my god. And after all said and done, that push was held, and GuMiho actually kept all of his Cyclones alive.
Yeah, it looks like GuMiho using that Cyclone just to run over that last Marine. We're playing Command and Conquer now, and we have both players going for Cloak on their Banshees.
Wow, but we have a scan from GuMiho. He does confirm the tech lab. He does see it researching on that starport. The first Banshee is already going to be coming out for GuMiho. He does have Cyclones help defend, but they're not in the main.
Yeah, Cyclone's caught a little bit out of position, and we are going to see this Banshee kind of awkwardly running next to this other Banshee, kind of like, what do you think you're doing here, buddy?
What do we do? I don't know. 6 SCVs.
Should we shoot SCVs too?
See one of us? See one of ours? I don't know. Oh my god. I mean, honestly, that Banshee did a surprising amount of damage even without Cloak. In the end, ByuN did opt to cancel it. A wise choice, as again, he already lost his first Banshee and he was scattered, but the 2 additional Banshees are coming in. Raven is only a couple of seconds away from coming out.
Yeah, that Raven is on the way, but GuMiho, realizing that, is going to jump straight away on top of these units, and he's going to take out quite a few of these Marines, and even taking out the tank. This is some pretty nice damage. Oh, even going for the Cyclone shot on the Raven, takes it out.
Oh my god, the power of 3 Cyclones are absolutely insane. He somehow gets the Raven as well, does take out the Cyclone of ByuN at the cost of 2 Cyclones of his own, but it's not too, doesn't matter too much because those Banshees are now going unhindered, and there is no detection. Force to scan.
Yeah, that's right, forces out the scan once again, and he's going to keep forcing these scans out of ByuN. The other thing is, if his micro is extremely accurate with these Banshees, he can even start to take out these Marines without losing the Banshees.
Oh my god, exactly. Meanwhile, there was a lock-on on the tank at one more bully. The second tank goes down. Ooh. The Banshee just goes ham in the main base of ByuN. He's not done, puppy.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much damage GuMiho was getting with this, but 14 SCVs, 15 have gone down, even 16 now.
Oh my god, it's absolutely insane what he's been able to achieve with so little. Meanwhile, okay, I'm sorry, he's gonna land the racks again and just keep making more Reapers. No, the Banshee is now almost done, but he gets a 17th SCV towards the end.
Yeah, that's right. 17 SCVs going down, even forcing out an extra turret from that Raven. But we can see a little bit the aggression of GuMiho with the proxy buildings as well does have its own drawbacks. And despite all those 17 SCVs going down, he is only ahead by 4 workers at this point.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have the largest lead that we would have thought he would have. Meanwhile, he goes for a little bit of Raven harassment with this scan. It looks like, ooh, we'll lose 1 Raven for his trouble. Still gets a couple more SCVs though, and even more lost mining time. So, I mean, GuMiho is still having it pay for itself. And even though he didn't have the largest worker lead, it's now getting a little bit larger, especially because he is getting his 3rd base on location.
Yeah, that's right, and Gumi, not one to follow the trends, is playing a bit of a weirder style once again, going up to 3 factories and 2 starports, so kind of skipping towards that late game Terran army. Yeah,
exactly. I guess in a way similar to last game, if you remember, he was very tank Viking heavy, and it took him a while to incorporate those blue flame Hellbats into his army. There was a period where he was at his weakest when he lost, too many of his tanks. He didn't quite have a buffer unit. So yeah, it just seems that maybe this is just what GuMiho prefers to do, as he is now starting his Hellion production.
Yeah, that's right. Just making a few extra Hellions out of that 3rd factory there, but with these double starports as well, that's going to allow him to just keep making these Ravens non-stop, and that represents quite a lot of value. The Ravens with those turrets, they can be very dangerous in TvT, but instead going to start to make 3 Vikings at a time and get that air control.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's already got 3 Ravens. We don't need too much more from there. He's just making sure that those Ravens are going to be safe and sound. Meanwhile, ByuN is going to go for a bit of a massive Doom drop across the map. Oh my god. Recognizing how much damage he's been taken. But, oh, actually, ByuN also has control of the Xel'Naga, knowing that it is safe to do so.
Yeah, nice drop there with the Xel'Naga. The scan going to go down from GuMiho, seeing a pretty normal production setup, but it does look like these units are going to get in unhindered, but seeing the 3 Raven, he thinks better of it. Really nice decision making from ByuN.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But you know what? ByuN, he commits to the drop anyway. He wants to dive on top of these Ravens. They actually managed to survive throwing down a couple of those auto turrets, but they run into the Cyclone.
Yeah, and that Cyclone going to take out 1 Raven, maybe even taking out a 2nd Raven with the auto attack, so that's a very high value Cyclone there, and that does change the complexion of this push. Without all those Ravens for the disables, it's going to be a lot more difficult to deal with the tanks of ByuN.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think ByuN really intended for that Doom drop to bait out some Ravens, but he was able to do so. He almost resets that Raven count of GuMiho. Any kind of massive advantage that he had from that is now gone. Oh, some nice moves here. It honestly didn't even cost him that much.
Yeah, that's right, and he does get a little bit of scouting of his own going on there, but it looks like GuMiho looking to play a very passive game, just spreading out all these tanks throughout the center, just going to take his time with this one and start to draw it out.
Yeah, exactly. Both players taking their time in their own ways. ByuN still sharking around with his Doom drop. Catches a free depot here or there. Maybe even could catch this Rax towards the south as well, as GuMiho is being spread quite thin here with his tank line.
Yeah, that's right. So ByuN could start to look to pick off some of these if they are undefended. The Vikings as well are going to have a little bit of a hard time catching up with these medevacs as they shark across the map. So ByuN doing a really good job of taking map control here.
Oh, yeah, he is going to take that map control. We see a scan towards the bottom left-hand corner of the map as well, just to keep eyes on how many bases GuMiho is on. I just really love how active ByuN is being right now, and I feel like GuMiho is lacking a little bit in those sensor towers. As I say that, we do have some sensor towers finally being thrown down here for GuMiho. This map, you are quite vulnerable to drops, especially in your main base because of the pocket. GuMiho is aware of that, and hopefully he'll be able to be on top of that sort of thing.
Starting up some turrets, starting up some sensor towers, just trying to get a little bit more control over the map any way that he can. He's going to send in this, dive in with his Hellions as well, just to try to keep control of the economy of ByuN, taking out 4 SCVs, even going up to 6 now, so nice little run by there.
Yeah, not bad at all. Something very unexpected at this stage of the game, especially because ByuN has had so much map control. GuMiho was able to bob and weave and get those Hellions all the way through the army into that mineral line. But now it's ByuN's turn to go for a counterattack, trying to find a way in, trying to find the weakest point of GuMiho's army. Again, GuMiho has a lot of tanks. He's got 12 tanks, but they're all over the place. You know, his tanks are in his main, his natural, outside his third. So ByuN, he can definitely find a weak point here.
Yeah, that's right, and we are seeing ByuN once again going for this 8-rack style, so he is going to look to be very aggressive with the bio, but I have to say I do prefer this style a little bit more on this map. I think there's more angles that you can deal damage on, and he has managed to keep a lot of his medevacs alive, so he does represent a lot more threat in this way. He's starting to split up his army here as well.
Definitely, I love the way he just cleaned up that racks. He split up his army here towards the south and towards the north. The Hellbat misses the Doom Drop, by the way, and there is a little bit of an area here that isn't covered by those sensor towers, so GuMiho's a little bit in the dark, but he does maneuver his Vikings in. Oh god! Oh.
Yeah, brilliant timing with the Vikings. He's going to take out 1, 2, even disabling these medevacs so they're not able to run away, and takes out the farm medevac. All 5 medevacs taken out for free, and oh, that is a terrible blow to ByuN. That represents so much of his supply.
Oh my god, and there we go. GuMiho knows he's going to pull the trigger. He unsieges every single one of his tanks. He's going across the map. I just realized how many Vikings he has. He has 14 Vikings and 3 Hellions. That's crazy, puppy.
Mate, I have to say, I think GuMiho, he's kind of worked out a style that works very well against ByuN. He knows ByuN's a very aggressive player. He can be a little bit YOLO with his units and just send them in, and GuMiho is happy just to sit back and to receive all of that, using the Vikings to clean up all these drops. And with his tank count, there's really nothing ByuN can do with his A-rack style except try to counterattack.
Yeah, and he's just gonna have to lose these bases. If he lifts up, well, there's 17 Vikings waiting for him, you know? Just wait to shoot him down. More medevacs being taken out. We have Marauders, not Marines, so again, there's just no way to really stop these Vikings. There was a bit of a run back here towards the natural base of GuMiho, but the reinforcements have cleaned all of that up.
Yeah, that's right. ByuN just outgunned here in the air and on the ground. GuMiho even still has a Raven left over, so he will eventually have the energy for a disable, but there is just nothing to contest the skies here for ByuN, and it's going to be very hard for him to even contest his tank count. Does manage to catch 2 of these tanks undefended on the left here.
Oh, exactly, but you know what that does tell GuMiho about this army. Meanwhile, oh, another bit of a miss rally. 3 more tanks are going to be caught out. ByuN is finding some value. He is definitely finding some damage, but can he stop the main army?
Yeah, these Vikings just landing on these tanks are able to take them out, and this is a very awkward position for ByuN. He's not really going to have a good concave to defend these units from unless he goes now.
Yeah, but you know what? ByuN is doing a lot of damage across the map. He kills 22 SCVs. He denies all the mining here at the triangular third base. The main army is forcing itself forward. We even have some Liberators just to, again, just add insult to injury, just, again, maintaining control of the air.
Yeah, these Liberators here are absolutely devastating, and it is going to allow GuMiho to keep slow pushing forward bit by bit, and I just don't think ByuN has anything that can ultimately deal with this. We're seeing him in the same kind of situation that he was on in Data C, where he doesn't have anything that can finally kill this army, just enough to slow it down.
Oh god, exactly. I mean, he ends up turning around in the end. He's gonna go for 1 Hail Mary play. He does have 2 medevacs ready to dive on top of the tanks. Vikings are a little bit out of position, but no, he spots it.
Yeah, goes for a huge surround here, going to be attacking this army from every side, and it does look like he's starting to make some headway on the tanks, even taking out the Liberators. GuMiho forced to land the Vikings, but everything going down to this bio.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the Viking land was a little bit too late. GuMiho loses every single one of those tanks. ByuN has defended his natural. He expanded towards the south. He has a 3rd. He has a 4th. He is still in this.
Yeah, that's right. He is still in this, but GuMiho is going to be so annoying with this Liberator, taking out so much of the mining of ByuN, and with this Air Force that he has still still available to him, it's going to be very hard for ByuN to be able to get the same kind of damage in response.
Yeah, but he's going for it anyway. He's going to have to give up his pocket base. Oh, both NG bays are going to go down. Upgrades are being denied right now for ByuN, but he's going for this massive counterattack. Doesn't have a lot of sustainability with this. He doesn't have any medevacs, but he just tims on forward and he dives on top of these two tanks.
Yeah, ByuN just going to send it, just going to go straight in here, diving on these tanks. One tank in the main, all that's there to defend, but another one at the natural as well. ByuN's going to have to be very careful with how he proceeds because all his bio is very bruised. Looks like he's just going to rotate down towards the bottom for now.
Yeah, exactly. Just making sure there is no base, but GuMiho is getting a ninja base up and running. At the same time, he's going to be denying the triangular third base once again. Do have a couple of reinforcements coming in for ByuN, but he is going to run into that tank line.
Yeah, that's right. Those tanks are going to take out a lot of the units, but he does manage to kill the Hellbats, which means he's going to be able to keep this base with the SCVs repairing it. Meanwhile, there's a Liberator down the bottom right-hand corner denying any mining for ByuN.
Yeah, exactly. ByuN essentially stuck on 2 base economy right now, but at the same time, GuMiho also isn't quite mining too much either. We're in a really kind of awkward position here as, oh my god, ByuN is a little bit supply blocked.
Yeah, GuMiho getting on top of all of these depots, including the super depot, but meanwhile, back at home for GuMiho, he's going into battle cruisers, and
oh my god,
this is not good for ByuN. The main thing that you want to deal with the battle cruisers as Terran are Vikings and Ravens, and that's already the advantage that GuMiho has. Not really something that ByuN's going to be looking to go into. He's kind of stuck on this bio composition, and yeah, this is going to be pretty much impossible for him to deal with such a heavy Marauder count.
Yeah, exactly. We've been all looking at the fact that ByuN just has no anti-air. He's been really struggling to deal with the Liberators, to deal with these Vikings. Liberators even now doing more damage. The BCs reveal themselves. 3 of them do teleport towards the bottom right-hand corner of the map.
Yeah, this base is going to be going down. We immediately see on the side of ByuN starting up Magfield. The only solution that he can find for this is to use his 2 factories to start producing Cyclones, but he can't even do that. He's so heavily supply blocked at the moment, and he does have a lot of minerals, but he doesn't have that much gas to work with, and he's not going to be able to hold on to these bases.
Yeah, I just realized that like he's been losing a lot of depots. On top of that, he's going to be losing the CCs, more things that just provide supply to the army of ByuN. It's not something you see often, but again, ByuN just won't be able to produce. He's got 9 depots on the way.
There is so much energy on this CC as well. It's about to go down. Does manage to spend that energy right before it goes down, throwing down a few mules before that can be destroyed. But at the same time, this army on the left-hand side, it's going to have to get so much damage, and I think GuMiho has found himself enough time to get these tanks up.
Oh, exactly. But you know what? The tanks, they do get caught out here at the triangular third base location. 3 tanks go down for free, but the rest of the army is coming in. GuMiho far ahead in supply.
Wow, yeah, look at that army for GuMiho. He has more than enough to deal with the bio army of ByuN. Meanwhile, those 3 tanks, the 3 BCs on the other side of the map, absolutely wreaking havoc. They are going to take out this 4th base before ByuN is able to take it. Good fast reactions to cancel it though.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure ByuN was maybe hoping that the BCs turn around, they went back home. He doesn't realize how many BCs there are on the map. ByuN cannot get these bases up and running, and GuMiho is pushing on forward. Magfield is about to finish up, but oh god, I don't know if we have enough Cyclones to really deal with this.
Yeah, and we weren't able to see it just before, but Yamato finishing up as well means those Cyclones are going to be all taken out, and GuMiho manages to get the win. I even saw him Yamatoing a few of those Cyclones as the game finished there.
GG, well played. GuMiho is able to take the series 2-1 over ByuN, but in quite a fashion. We don't see TvTs quite like that anymore. Mate, it all started with both players going for proxy raxes against each other and scouting each other. it was crazy, Papi. It was crazy.
Yeah, crazy series between these 2 players, but I think GuMiho was able to exploit a little bit of the lack of flexibility in the way that ByuN plays against mech. This 8-rack style, there is a lot of pressure to get damage, and GuMiho was able to identify some of the weaknesses with this style.
Definitely. Like it did feel like GuMiho had ByuN figured out. He was fully aware of what ByuN would go for. I think a lot of that did culminate in the fact that ByuN just kept going for these mass doom drops into the main base, in towards the third as well, and he just kept getting caught out. GuMiho was just constantly reading him well ahead of time. It was beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. Beautiful play coming out from GuMiho, and meanwhile, it looks like we have a result in our upper bracket match as well. They've just been churning through the games in that upper bracket.
Yeah, and I just love that as this series ends now, Rufus opens his eyes.
It's like, mate, I hope we've got a TVC.
Oh my god, let's go, Papi, let's go. We do have that TVZ. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. The upper semifinals is already over, and Solar has taken down arguably the best Protoss in the world in Hero.